Police narcotics detective that the agency has dealt drugs throughout this country for a long time.
The CIA used him as a pawn to sell drugs to help fund a secret war in Nicaragua.
Illegal cocaine is coming into our country at alarming levels.
He was a 1980s drug lord who became a multi-millionaire urban legend in Los Angeles. A rap star even stole his name and parlayed it into a music career.
I'm your neighborhood drug dealer. It's your neighborhood drug dealer.
Hey, you see Rick Ross in there? Rick Ross. The real Rick Ross.
To William Roberts, a.k.a. Rick Ross, who's using my name, I'm inviting you in to come with me. Let's fight this culture. Let's fight this penitentiary culture that hip-hop's been spreading. Let's make a difference. Me and you need to come together and you need to tell them that you didn't make your money selling drugs. And making music is how you became famous. See, there's nothing wrong with making music. Just like it's nothing wrong with being a correctional officer, if that's what you did. But so many of our friends who look up to you and look up to me are out on the streets thinking that they can go out and sell drugs and parlay that into a record career. I don't know if you know that they're not gonna make it, but I know that they're gonna wind up in prison with prison sentences 3 and 4 times what they should be, because this war on drugs is no joke. I have 10 or 11 friends still in prison right now with life sentences, including one that even you know, Big Meech. I know how much you respect me and care about me, otherwise you wouldn't have took my name. Take a chance with me now. Let's make a difference. And even if William Roberts, a.k.a. Rick Ross, don't decide to come with me and join hands, then the rest of the artists out there, let's us come together. Professor Griff, KRS-One, and so forth. Let's join hands. Let's change this thug culture. Let's change this hip-hop to prison pipeline. Let's make it happen. Right now, today. Let's do it. And not just you, the whole hip-hop community. I'm asking all of you. Let's all of us come together. Let's change these laws right now and end this senseless war on drugs. A lot of times we go through life and we start to believe that the things that we're experiencing in our life and the things that we see in our communities are the only way it is. Like, this is the way it is. This is the way it's supposed to be. And when you start to think like that, you can get trapped in a box. Hip-hop has taken over the world. If we can take hip-hop back, we can change the whole planet. We can bring real peace and no more war. Let's be pioneers. Let's be talked about forever for how we change the way society thinks about each other. It don't have to always be a war on drugs. If we can educate ourselves to where our kids and our brothers and our sisters and our mothers and our fathers look at drugs the way we look at rat poison. You know, we just don't go around using rat poison and other chemicals that's harmful to our body. If we teach our people how to not use drugs the same way, then eventually we don't have to worry about them using drugs.
Now, you may never have heard of some of these stars, but your kids have. They're heroes to a whole new generation.
Now, they take these guys, and these guys say, well, I got to the position that I'm in right now today by selling drugs. So the message that it tells our kids is that if you go out, you sell drugs, then you can become a great rock star like myself and never go to prison. And I think that that's a false message to be given people who feel hopeless. I'm letting you know right now that the establishment is using hip-hop to prime these kids for a life that's gonna send them to prison, just like they did with me. See, when I was coming up, there was Superfly, Tequila Sunrise, Scarface, all these movies to make you think that you could start with nothing and then you could have the whole world at the palm of your hand. Only that there was no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. It was a set of handcuffs and shackles. And you want to know why the CIA symbol is behind me? Because they were the guys behind me when I was selling drugs. And now they're behind hip-hop and rock and roll. This prison, hip-hop connection, they're behind that too.
If it was good for them to sell drugs, then it should have been good for me to sell drugs. The money from the drugs went to buy guns for the country.
Even if you don't read my book, warn your kids. Let them know. But I advise you that this book is worth reading. Definitely for your kids. Even if you don't read it, get it for your kids, get it for your loved ones. Let them see what the drug culture is all about. It's not manufactured like the stuff you see on TV and you hear in music. This is real life. It's your life, your loved one's life. Let's make a difference. You know where to find me. Freeway Ricky, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, freewayrick.com. Hit me up. You know I'm out here. Yeah, it's very important that I redeem myself for the wrongs that I've done. And I feel that the way that I can redeem myself the best is by helping others not fall in the same footsteps that I fell in. Because I believe that it's a trap. It's a trap to catch you. Yeah. Just because you're doing bad and you're looking for a way to make an income, there's people that'll take your freedom forever and ever. Don't make the same mistake I made. Don't get caught up. It's time for us to wake up and face it. Get the truth. And you're done.
All right, so that was Freeway Ricky Ross, who woke up to what was being done to him, woke up about the fact that he was part of a CIA-run drug operation, woke up to the paradigm, the false paradigm. But we've got some people who are engaging our reporters, Joe Biggs and Jakari Jackson in Ferguson right now. They're still part of this paradigm, thinking that they are doing an effective work of protesting the police operations when they burn down their black neighbors' businesses. Evidently, they're upset about what Joe Biggs said earlier today on the Alex Jones radio show, saying that he thought that people who were burning down buildings were terrorists.
But it was terrorist activity.
Yes, there's terrorist activity. Let's go back and join this live feed and see what's going on there. Hey, Joe.
We're calling him back via Skype. We lost his Skype connection. This is our Ustream. What is going on? Ustream/Alex Jones live.
All right.
But you can see this build up there with them really feeling like everyone is against them.
Yeah.
You know, even our guys who've been out there months now. But
all right, we've got Biggs back. Let's go back and talk to Biggs. Go ahead. Biggs, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, David. I'm out here still in between the police department and the fire department, standing on the sidewalk. There's more police that have pushed out in the road. A lot of the protesters are now pushing more into the road in one of the lanes. They've got one of the whole lanes essentially blocked off, and there's still cars driving by. I can't believe that they don't have traffic blocked off like they did at other times. This is just mind-blowing. Someone's going to drive by and hit a protester, that's going to start an all-out riot, or someone's going to drive by with a gun and then just, you know, shoot. So these are things that people you would think police would train for, and it's something that they would take precaution. You know, they're putting up barricades all around the police station, but they're not doing anything to essentially protect these protesters. I mean, they need to block this road off.
You know, nothing has happened in 20 years. That's exactly what we saw in the LA riots. Daryl Gates, who had essentially created SWAT teams. I think the very first SWAT teams were there in LA, and they were the first ones to militarize their police departments. Of course, he had experience with the CIA as well. When they had the LA riots, they only protected the government buildings, the police department, the city hall, that sort of thing. That's exactly what we're seeing here now. Go ahead, Leanne. What do you want to say?
well, I was just going to point out that they already had another person was run over at a protest in another city. One of these Ferguson protests, they had a protester was run over. So, I mean, Joe, you're absolutely right. They should have this blocked off. What's to say that they don't just start attacking cars going by, or if they're just in the line of fire? I mean, this is dangerous precedent. I mean, we already saw a car run into a pole the other day, and
well, I got word a minute ago that a journalist was out here going back to their car. I think they were by themselves, and someone came at them at gunpoint and took everything from them. So that just happened about a block away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot more anger out here tonight. It's
And speaking of anger, before we went to the break and we played Freeway Ricky Ross's report because we thought it was very important for people to hear yet again what he had to say. We played that earlier today on the radio show, what he had to say about people getting caught up in this government false paradigm. And we had a couple of people before we went to break that were getting in the face of Jakari, yelling and screaming at him. You said they were upset because you had said earlier you condemned people burning down businesses earlier today. He was upset about that. He thought that's a legitimate form of protest, he thought?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's wrong with disagreeing with the fact that someone's going to come out and burn down buildings and destroy a neighborhood when that neighborhood needs those businesses. I mean, there's grocery stores, there's food places. I mean, you know, the gas station's gone. I mean, why do you have to completely destroy everything?
Yeah.
It's not going to get any point across other than the fact that, all right, no one wants to come back out here and build a business again. You know, I would not want to rebuild a business in an area when people are doing that. And, you know, some will, of course, but, you know, a lot of these bigger chains are probably going to be like, nah, you know, I'll cut my losses and just move on somewhere else.
Well, and that's the thing. What makes a community vibrant is when you've got small businesses, people who live in that community, who are part of that community. That's what we are all so concerned about when we see Walmart coming in and putting so many small businesses out of business. That kind of consolidation is not good for a government. It's not good for business. It's not good for politics. It's not good in any way. We need to have a diverse, broad-based economy, and the way you have that is with small businesses. So small businesses that are not going to be able to come back. In many cases, Ken Moran, the firefighter that we were talking to, made the point, Joe, that a lot of these businesses may find that their insurance doesn't cover riots any more than insurance covers war. You know, if they set off a false flag nuke in one of these cities, everybody's going to find that their homes and their businesses are not covered for loss by the insurance companies. And so a lot of these people, I think, are going to find that even the cost of rebuilding it is not going to be there, but they're going to lose their income for a long period of time while they're out of business if they're even able to rebuild. And a lot of people aren't going to have the pockets to wait that out.
Right.
But you got to think it's also going to hurt a lot of the people's trust too for the area as well. It's going to be just like with anything. When something bad happens, you have to regain trust, and a lot of these businesses are going to have to find out whether or not they can regain trust in this area. And I don't blame them. You know, there's a lot of the owners around here that we've talked to are really worried and upset with the direction of how everything's going. It'll just take time.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the things that we talked about earlier, how sad it is that there is such a poverty of ideas, that they don't have a strategy for what they want to accomplish. The most they seem to be able to come up with is, we don't want the police to do this in response to what protesters are doing. No sense of what they want to, how they want to change the mission of the police force, how they want to change the rules of engagement. They should be thinking about that type of thing. That's what's going to really make the difference in their community, not these immediate protests. They're so caught up in the moment, they can't see the long-term problem.
Yes, exactly.
You got to be able to organize and let people know what you want to change and be able to vocalize that. I feel like a lot of the frustration that's out there right now is just feeling like there is never going to be any justice, like nothing's ever going to change. And so they just want to burn the whole world down. But that's, you know, that's a short-sighted goal.
Yeah.
If it's even a goal.
What's interesting right now is the police are standing on the sidewalk, and now civilians are directing traffic essentially and directing the flow of traffic, stopping people from coming in because there's only one lane in the road open right now because everyone's moved into one side of the road. So now there's civilians out here, regular citizens out here.
Yeah, regular citizens,
blocking the road off and allowing, wow, everyone's running right now. Something's on fire.
Oh, goodness.
Something is on fire close to where you are right there?
I can't tell. I just see a lot of smoke, and now people are running around.
I don't know if you heard Ken Moran say to stay away from any burning cars.
What is that aerial feed? What is that aerial feed that we're looking at there? That's local Fox, okay. That's an aerial feed. They're up on a helicopter or up in a building somewhere looking down.
Stuff's getting thrown. It's about to get nasty.
All right, so it's building up.
Oh,
hey, Biggs.
someone just threw, look, the lawn's on fire now.
Hey, Biggs, this is Darren.
Yes.
If things get too heated, you guys don't hesitate. Get the hell out of there.
Yeah, we will. Someone just threw something to put a fire, like, right at the police officer saying, hey, it just went out.
Last night, there was a CNN reporter. She got hit in the head.